Today is the Tirobhava of Sri Vasudeva Ghosa. So we'll mention something about him today. And also Sri Srimad Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaja. We'll mention something about him also. Madhav Maharaj's party, the main Parikrama party, they went to Kartik-Tirobhava and Javat and Baitan, Charan Pahari and Kokilvan. All very, very beautiful places. Kartik-Tirobhava is just close by Varshana, and then close by Nandagaon is Javat, and then Baitan Pahari or Baitan Charan Pahari, and then Kokilvan is opposite Javat. When we drive from Javat, we drive straight across the road and we come to the forest of Kokilvan. We can mention something of those places. But it's a very beautiful parikrama in Govardhan today, in Vrindavan today. And then we'll go into verse 5 today.
Namaste
Radha Damodar Ju Ki Jai. Shri Radha Govinda Ju Ki Jai. Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai. Jai Sachinandana Gauda Hari Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishna Om Asto Tarasara Shishimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Varantaracharya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Traya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bharadasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parsada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikahol Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautaramdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janudvip Modamdvip Rudvip Apaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Badravan, Bandirvan, Belvan, Lohavan, Mahavan, Madhuvan, Talvan, Kamudvan, Bahulavan, Vrindavan, Kadyavan, Kamyavan, Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopi Go Govardhan Dwarasavar Matmika Shri Brajamandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kun Shamakun Ganga Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shrimati Punamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai. Ketra Mandal Ki Jai. Sarva Vigna Vinasa Karishina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Chari Dham Ki Jai. Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai. Chari Acharya Ki Jai. Karamat Raj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Devananda Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Keshavji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Anantakota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagat Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gopranandi Hari Hari Bo. Om Agina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shnapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Shvapadantikam Riya Sarupe Daita Sarupe Prema Sarupe Sahajabi Rupe Nijana Rupe Prabhuika Rupe Tatana Rupe Swavilasa Rupe Anapita Chirim Chirat Gurunavad Tinokalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Svabhakti Shriyam Haripurata Sundari Tutikatam Vasadipita Sada Hridare Kandare Spadatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Prabhajantam Anapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katala Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarvobinidus Tam Sadabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktiya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadita Rangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Pajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Bharatam Tato Mamanasti Katyana Kapi Tabaivasmi Najivami Tvaibina Iti Vigaya Radhe Tvam Naimam Charanantikam. And first of all, offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of our most beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astol Tarastarashishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions and millions of times, unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nitya Lila Pravishta Om, Astol Tarastarashishimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnav and all the Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to everyone. Vansha Kalpa Tarupyascha, Vipasimudrevacha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo, Vaishnavena Namaha. So, today the party went to Kadirvan, and I was just remembering a particular time when we were all sitting together, just on the edge of Varshana, facing the road to go to Nandagaon. The road from Varshana to Nandagaon is about 7 kilometers. And we were all sitting with my Gurudev, and he pointed to this area of Nandagaon and saying, this is Kadirvan. In Kadirvan is where Lokanath Goswami had his place at Kishori Ghat. What is that called? We went there? Kishori Kund, yes, Kishori Kund. That's in Kadirvan. So Kadirvan has many pastimes. The pastimes when Radharani dresses up as an emperor, Umrao. And then Krishna does the same, and then they have battle together. And tie Madhu Mangal up and punch him. But very beautiful leelas happen around Umrao, which is in Kadirvan. And then Jabat is very close by. Jabat, of course, is the home where Radharani, the home of Jatila, Kotila, Abhimanyu. So that's the place where Radharani is captured, basically, by her in-laws. And many hundreds of pastimes, thousands of pastimes there in Jabat. Very beautiful, beautiful place to go. And then the Baitan, I'm not sure what that is, and Charan Pahari. There are different Baitan. Baitan means sitting place. Baitan, it's sitting place. I'm not sure which Baitan. And then Kokilvan, that beautiful forest of the cuckoos. And there's one pastime when Radharani is sitting in Jabat, and Krishna is in the forest, and he wants Radharani to come out of the forest, and he begins singing like the most beautiful cuckoo that anyone has ever heard. And Jatila, she hears this cuckoo, and of course Vishaka and Lalita, they're with Radharani, and they hear this cuckoo, and they think this can only be Krishna. There isn't a cuckoo that sings as beautiful as this cuckoo. But then Jyotila, she comes in the room and she says, that cuckoo is singing so beautifully. You should all go to the forest and see him, see what the cuckoo looks like, you know? And so all the Sakis, they run to the Kokil forest. But it's the forest of cuckoos. Now it's the worshipful place of Sunny Dev. Sunny Dev has his place there, and there's a very beautiful ashram there. So it's a wonderful prikrama. And the disappearance day of Vasudeva Ghosa. Today, Vasudeva Ghosa had 3 brothers, Madhava Ghosa and Govinda Ghosa, and all expert kirtaniyas. and they would sing in Mahaprabhu's party, all three of them, in the Rath Yatra. They would all take part in, because Mahaprabhu had 7 parties dancing in Rath Yatra. So each of these brothers were assigned to a particular party. They didn't stay in the same party because they were such good singers by themselves. So, and Govinda Ghosh has written many bhajans there, and Vasudeva Ghosa also, beautiful bhajans they sing. So these are eternal Nityasiddha Parikas of Sachinandana Gaura Hari. So we celebrate his disappearance day today. He has his Shripat in Agradweep, which is just south of Navadweep. It's the same place where Srinivasacharya also has his Shripat there. So this is basically the glorification of Vasudeva Ghosh, just very briefly. And then there's the celebration of the Tirobhava of Srimad Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaja, who a great stalwart preacher of Srila Bhakti Sarvasya and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj speaks about him, and we posted the Bhavanuvad, his translation of his Katha, on our WhatsApp thread, that you can read that. And but very bold preacher, and he would go and see the dignitaries, the British gentry, etc. And he made wonderful contacts with the governor, the British governor, for example. And there's pastimes about that. And he was always particularly helpful to any of the needy brahmacharis or the sannyasis. If anyone was in any need of any monetary hospital fees, etc., he would always be ready to give his last paisa to them. And there's many examples of that. This is just like the same mood as Bhakti Madhav Maharaj. They had this mood of service to the Vaishnavas very, very strongly. And there's an example given that one time there was a big mahotsav, big feast, and there were many sannyasis and many brahmacharis. And Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaja was one of the most senior people there. And there was a few hundred devotees there. And they all, when they had finished their prasadam, they all left the prasadam hall. But Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaj remained. He was sitting there still. Everyone else had gone out. And then Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj was there at that time. So he comes back into the prasadam hall to see where his Bhakti is Giri Maharaj. And Giri Maharaj is going to every single plate that was left there and taking the remnants from each plate of all the Vaishnavas. Even though he's the most senior Vaishnava, he was taking all the remnants from all the other plates. So Bhakti Dvaita Madhav Maharaj, because Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj told his Guru Maharaj, oh, Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaj, he's taking the remnants of all the Vaishnavas. So Bhakti Dvaita Madhav Maharaj just immediately went back into the room and sat down with Giri Maharaj and began taking all the remnants also. And he also began taking the remnants. So this was the mood. This was definitely the mood that Srila Bhakti Sarvasya had imbibed in his missionary, who, remember, Bhakti Sarvasya erected the whole Gaudiya Math. There was no Gaudiya Math before Bhakti Sarvasya. So it was a big task. So in his vision, after he was chanting his rounds, his billion names, etc., then Mahaprabhu told him that I will send you men. So every time one qualified person came, Srila Bhakti Sarvasya would always say, oh, my Prabhu has sent me this personality. But all these, so many stalwart, exemplary devotees that were coming to the camp of Srila Bhakti Sarvasya and exhibiting such high Vaishnava qualities to put the roots of Mahaprabhu's mission into this world, this respectable, because previously the devotees, they had not all been connected they would live in different places, just like we read in the beginning of Jayabadama. They all lived in different places, and they appeared mostly like Babajis. But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted to appeal to the more respected classes of Calcutta society, for example, and the rest of the world. So somehow or other, these very respectable young men came to his camp, and this Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaja was certainly amongst them, one of them. So today we are celebrating his Tirobhava festival with great happiness and joy at the remembrance of these stalwart Vaishnavas from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So Srila Bhakti Sarvasya Giri Maharaj ki jai, Vasudeva Ghosa ki jai, Brajamandal Parikrama ki jai. It would be nice, of course, to go into details of all the different places that the Parikrama is going, but we have a mission this Kartik to go through this Damodarastakam. So I'm trying to stay on track. I was thinking at the beginning, oh, we have so much time. You know, what are we going to do at the end? I was thinking we're going to be left with vacant spaces. And then I was planning to read, and I'm still planning to read, this beautiful Yamal Arjuna Mochanam, which is written by Jiva Goswami at the back of the book, which is a beautiful, complete pastime of the Dambanda Leela. And I was hoping to get to that. But now all of a sudden, it seemed like yesterday, we've only got like 14 or 15 days left. So everything seems to be crunching up. We've hit the halfway mark and we're coming down, sliding out of Kartik again. So I want to keep rolling with at least getting through the 8 verses here. So
12 days left.
11 days. 11 days. And we've got Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaj and Srila Turikram Maharaj tomorrow. The next day we have Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So we have different not interruptions, but there'll be occasions for speaking different topics. But now we're on verse 5 today. You can read for yourselves the very profound commentary of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj on page 97 through maybe 5 pages here. You can see that. That's very enlightening. So now we've come to verse 5. And this is a remarkable verse because verse 4 was like a pivotal verse, we explained. We've come from describing the Leela in mantra upasana in the second verse, Rudantam Muhur. And then we've come into Iti Drik Svalilabhya, this Svarasiki Upasana. And then we've come into Satyabrat Muni, rejecting even Navada Bhakti, rejecting Vaikuntha Dham, rejecting these places. So now the whole conception of Braja Prem is coming to light in the 4th verse. And now it's going to flourish in the 5th verse. The 5th verse, everything will really come to light because now the dynamic of increased mood and greed. Previously in the 4th verse, he wanted just to see the whole form of Balagopal. Now he only wants to see the beautiful smiling face of Balagopal. So it's an increase. So when we meditate on these verses, just by going through this the way we're going through it, and then when we sing the Astakam every day, then our appreciation and understanding of each verse, of course, is going to expand daily as we grasp more and more of the Leela. But there's no end to it. I explained it before. It's like unlimited practically. Every single year, whatever you're hearing now, next year you're going to hear more. And the next year after that, you're going to hear more. And it just keeps on increasing and increasing. And it's amazing. It's not ordinary. It's not just like you hear the Astakam and then, you know, it's because it's an eternal Astakam. We've described this already. So, idam te mokambojam avyakta nilai, ritam kuntalai snigda rakshasta gopya, muhus kumbitam bimba raktad haramme, manasya avrishtam, alam laksha labai. So the translation, O Deva, your lotus-like face, encircled by soft, blackish, blue, curly locks of hair that have a reddish glow, is repeatedly kissed by the gopi Sri Yashoda. May your supremely charming lotus face, with lips like red bimba fruit, always remain manifest in my heart. I do not care about millions of other attainments. So this is the translation. Then we have the Digdarshini Tika by Sanatana Goswami in Sanskrit. And I think we'll leave that till later. And now we come to the Digdarshini Tika Bhavanuvad by Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. So in the previous verse, Sri Satyabrat Muni prayed for Sri Krishna's whole form of Balagopal in Vrindavan to forever manifest in his heart. In this verse he prays, among all the limbs of your worshipful form, Sri Vigraha, I especially yearn to behold your supremely enchanting lotus face. Sri Satyabrat Muni speaks this verse beginning with Idam Te, in order to convey his desire to Sri Bhagavan. Once, in his meditation, Sri Satyabrat Muni had a momentary glimpse or spurti of the indescribable beauty of his worshipful Lord's lotus face. Now he expresses his experience in words by saying, Mukham Bhojam. Your face is just like a lotus flower. In fact, your face is the original source of the beauty found in the fully bloomed lotus flower. Lavanamrita, right? We
Lavanyamrita.
Lavanyamrita. Yes, Lavanyamrita means the origin of beauty. Krishna is the origin of beauty. Not just beautiful, he's the origin of every conceivable object in existence of beauty. He's its origin. Lavanyamrita. Very beautiful word. Lavanyamrita. Your face is like a lotus. In fact, your face is the original source of the beauty found in the fully blossomed lotus flower. It soothes all suffering, and it is permeated by the sweet nectar of supreme bliss. So beauty and bliss go together. Whenever we see anything exceptionally beautiful, even in the material world, there's a sense of sweetness that comes with it. If you see something very, very beautiful, some beautiful flower, some beautiful forest, some beautiful scenery, there's a sense of sweetness and bliss that comes with it. So this is saying here, you're the original source of beauty found in the land. It soothes all suffering, and it is permeated by the sweet nectar of supreme bliss. Then he prays, May manasi muhur avrishtam. May that lotus face manifest within my heart again and again. This is greed. This is lobha. He only wants that. Focused. Doesn't want anything else at the moment. It's going to transition a little bit, because we said at the beginning how Sonaka Rishi, his staibhav was not fixed. So he's moving through these conceptions. We should never try to imagine our staibhav. Don't use your imagination for that. We just follow our natural attraction to the aspects of bhakti that we're practicing. It's a natural mood that has to manifest. And Guru, in his wisdom, will reveal that pure staibhav ultimately when we're completely ripe and ready to have it revealed to us. Don't try and imagine something previous to that, because it'll probably not be completely correct. So we have to pray to Guru to reveal our style. Although Gurudev has said many, many times, if you come to the camp of Sachinandan Gaura Hari, it's almost assured that you have the potential for Manjari Bhav. If you're interested in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his precepts, not just Sankirtan, book distribution, etc. If you're interested in Raganuga Bhakti, which is what Mahaprabhu has come to actually gift and give, this Anapita Chirim Chirat, this is what he's come to give, this Swabhakti Shriyam. If we're interested in this, even a little bit, it indicates that our Sthai Bhav is in that direction of Manjari Bhav, that we have the capacity to go in that direction. Mahaprabhu will make up any shortfall. Guru will make up any shortfall. We just have to have that desire. It's all about the lobe, the greed to attain this, as we've said many times. This is the nature of Raganuga Bhakti. We're only talking about Raganuga Bhakti here. We're not talking about anything else here, right? This whole Damodarastakam is only about Raganuga Bhakti. The whole dynamic of it is increasing. Shut the door, please. What is Krishna's lotus face? What is Krishna's lotus face like? Sri Satyabrat Muni continues. Your lotus face is encircled by curls of extremely black, soft hair that have a reddish luster. The word vritam suggests those curly locks seem like bumblebees around the lotus flower of your face. He continues, your lotus face is kissed again and again by a gopi. The gopi mentioned here can be conceived of as either Sri Yashoda or Sri Radha. Although the words muhur again and again can be applied to me manasi avrishtam as before, it can also be applied here to gopya. Thus it can be used twice, once regarding the gopis' kisses, gopya muhur kumbitam, and once regarding the sage's vision of Sri Krishna's lotus face, me manasi muhur avrishtam. Also, if we restrict the use of muhur to gopya based on its position within the verse, then a third sense is derived. Your lotus face is kissed again and again by extremely fortunate Sri Yashoda or by Sri Radha Gopi. May that lotus face manifest in my heart, even if I can only see it one time. Alternatively, the phrase me manasya avrishtam is a partial repetition of the phrase sada me manasi avrishtam from the previous verse. Therefore, the word sada always can also be applied here to derive the meaning, may the vision of your lotus face being kissed again and again by Sri Yashoda or by Sri Radha remain manifest in my heart forever. So Satyabrat Muni has this increased mood just to have that darshan of Balagopal's sweet, most beautiful, attractive face. Sri Satyabrat Muni describes another beautiful feature of Sri Krishna's lotus face with the words Bimba Vat Rakta Dharam. May your lotus face with lips like red bimba fruit remain visible in my heart forever. Then my life will be successful. He ends the verse with Laksha Labhai. Besides this, millions and millions of other attainments are of no importance to me. The reconciliation of Sri Satyabrat Muni's rejection of millions of other attainments is the same as the one presented in the previous verse. So that's already been established. He doesn't want Navada Bhakti, he doesn't want Vaikuntha Prem, he doesn't want moksha, he only wants this. This is called Nishta, this is called one pointed focus. Ekatma, one focused. We have to become ourselves as sadhaks, one focused. So now the Digdarshani Briti by my Gurudev, by Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. In the previous verse, it was as though Sri Bhagavan had become pleased by Sri Satyabrat Muni's devotional sentiments and said, O sage, I am satisfied with you. Ask a benediction from me. In response, Sri Satyabrat Muni prayed, O Prabhu, O Master of all those who grant benedictions, you are the most exalted. There is no limit to the blessings you can grant. But my dear Lord, none of those boons are of any use to me. So that's all described in the previous verse. Navata Bhakti, Moksha, etc., Vaikuntha Prem. Those are all the different boons that can be granted to him. So he doesn't want any of those. In the present verse, Sri Satyabhat Muni prays, Idam te mukam bojam. All I want is to see your exquisitely beautiful lotus face in my heart again and again. He's not asking to see him directly, although we should understand the real nature that Satyabhat Muni does want to see Krishna directly. And as a consequence of that, he takes birth as the son of Vivishwan in his next birth. He takes the birth of Vaivashvatu, who becomes the Manu in this age, Vaivashvatu Manu. Why has he got that benediction just in this particular 7th Manvantara? Because this is when the Supreme Lord appears and actually directly enacts this pastime. This pastime is only enacted once in the whole day of Lord Brahma, in the 7th Manvantara. This is the time when this Satyabhat Muni was in the 6th Manvantara, the Chakshush Manvantara. So he has this desire also to see him directly, because in Brihat Bhagavatamrita there's a whole sequence of descriptions which is better to actually see the Lord in your heart and like a Jnani Bhakta. And this is described by the 4 Kumaras. They are saying, no, this is you have to do like this to Gopkumar. Gopkumar is not satisfied with that. He wants to see the Lord directly. So there's a whole explanation describing that. This will be described in something in this presentation by my Gurudev. He is remembering the indescribable beauty. Where did I get up to? There?
Yes, all I want to see your electricity.
Wait a minute. All I want to see is your exquisitely beautiful lotus face in my heart again and again. He is remembering the indescribable beauty of Sri Bhagavan's lotus face in his form as Balagopal. Sri Satyabhat Muni only had a glimpse of that form within his heart, Spurti, during his meditation. What was it like? At first the sage uses the word avyakta. It is beyond the grasp of the material mind or material words. Avyakta. Further reflecting on what he saw in his Spurti, he says, your lotus face is encircled, avritam, by dark black curls of hair, which have a soft red glow that makes them look like bumblebees. Mother Yashoda and the gopis kiss that lotus face again and again because it's so beautiful. In the previous verse, Sri Satyabhat Muni prayed to see Sri Krishna's Balagopal form within his heart. But now he is praying specifically to see his beautiful lotus face, which he yearns to kiss. He wonders, I want to achieve something so rare. Will this hope of mine ever be fulfilled? This is his very secret, confidential aspiration that he's sharing in this verse. He doesn't know that that's even going to be possible, to actually see just that, to actually even kiss that face. He doesn't know that it's possible, but that's his desire. My Gurudev used to say many, many times, even though we don't understand the conception, even though we think it's, and it is so high, still, if we aspire for that, and he used to give the example of a really not particularly good-looking person who wanted to make Princess Diana his girlfriend, or whatever, beloved. So even he's so unqualified to do that, still he had that desire to do that. So we should appreciate that. In the previous verse, Sri Satyabhat Muni, oh wait, I read this.
I want to
The present verse marks an escalation.
Last sentence of the first
Okay. The present verse marks an escalation of the intense longing developing within Sri Satyabrat Muni's heart. This is the whole dynamic of Raganuga Bhakti. This is the whole dynamic, this increased intensity. We should see, especially during this month of Kartik, if you're following something carefully, if you're increasing your mala, your chanting, if you're increasing your focus, if you're reading perhaps more, if you're being very careful about your dietary intake, etc., if you're following closely the rules of Kartik Brat, then naturally your meditation is going to be more focused than ever before. And we should be coming to newer and newer heights of realization, day by day. If it's not happening like that, then really the current hasn't been ignited yet. If it becomes, Bhaktivedanta Swami talks about hackneyed. Hackneyed means kind of ordinary. Oh, I'm just chanting again today, I'm just doing this parikrama again today, and not really entering into the mood of what we're doing. It's called hackneyed. It's like again and again, repetitive. It's kind of like there's no exhilaration there. There's no ecstasy coming. So we should understand that something is not correct with our practice if it becomes like that. It should not just be actually every day. It should practically, I've often spoken about these wows in the past, you know, to have a wow, something that just opens your mind completely, right? You just have an experience that you've never had before and completely astonishes you. That chamatkara, a totally astonishing mood or vision. And I was saying we should at least have 5 a day of those. If we don't have but this is Kartik, and we should have more than that. But this increased mood of astonishment for where we're going, for what we're engaging in. It has to be really ecstatically dynamic to be real. It won't cut through the material boundaries unless it is. You'll just keep on holding to the material baggage all the time. The material baggage will become more important than the actual progress. At some point, we just have to be very brave and let go. Can we do it? No, not really. We can do it momentarily thinking about it, but thinking about it is the start of it. But we want to actually walk our talk, they say, which means you follow what your belief is. Don't restrict yourself by the material considerations all the time. And it comes from letting go of the past. I remember this beautiful poem by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Constantly, forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all. Don't be making all pretty plans for the future, because they're meaningless. They may happen or may not happen. But be with times that are with thee, that are now, and progress we shall make. Be in the powerful present. The powerful present is absolutely ecstatic, but most conditioned souls cannot tolerate the powerful present because they're so bewildered. So they have to go back into memories, especially when you're older, you go back into the past, and when you're younger, you keep dreaming of plans for the future. It seems the dynamic of the ages. We miss the powerful present. But for the sadhak, for the devotee, he should always be trying to sit in the powerful present, right now, because that ultimately is the eternal moment. That moment is going to touch the soul itself, the powerful present. That's the nature of the soul. The soul itself is eternal. At first, by the power of sadhu sangha an inclination to serve Krishna enters the heart. When one's anarthas are gradually driven away by performing bhajan in sadhusanga, the inclination to serve Sri Krishna will continue to increase, and one's consciousness will blossom more and more through the progressive stages of love of God, beginning from Nishta, then through Ruchi, Asakti, and Bhav, and finally Prem. So the other day we spoke about those three levels, that Bhagavat Prapti Abhilas, and Anukul Abhilas, and Sohard Abhilas. Bhagavat Prapti Abhilas, to want to serve the Lord with all my heart and soul. But then another consideration, I want to serve the Lord with all my heart and soul in a favorable manner. It upgrades it. Both are commendable, of course. And then the third one is so hard to be friendly, to serve the Lord in friendship. They're quite different, all three desires. So our desires have to be fine-tuned as we go along this path. We're always amending our desire. We're always fine-tuning what it's going to be. And ultimately we want to come to this exalted place of Radha Dasya. If that is our prayer, if that has been instilled in us, yes, I want this Radha Dasya. This is what my Gurudev tried to instill in us from the very beginning. Just desire, even though we're so unqualified, it's the desire that will give us the qualification. Not by gyan, not by so many mantras, this is not giving us the qualification. It's ultimately greed. And it's greed for Guru Nishta. Because without that connection with Guru to our Guru Parampara, nothing is going to happen. It absolutely must have the connection. If there's no connection, the plug's not plugged in. And the connection has to be examined daily. Am I pleasing my Guru? My Guru Varga? Am I pleasing Srila Rupa Goswami? Will he be happy by what I'm doing now? So we don't know, so we ask our present Guru. We don't know what is going to please Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We may have an inclination or a feeling, but we still have to confirm that with our present Guru. You cannot take initiation from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You can't take initiation from Srila Bhakti Sarvasya. You have to take initiation from a living Guru. You can get so much sukriti from past personalities, but you can't get that vital connection. The plug won't be plugged in. It'll just be empty. We have to understand this. Guru Nishta, it's the backbone of our bhakti. The backbone. Without a backbone, you just flop over. Right? You can't even walk. You can't even stand up without a backbone. So always this consideration should be there. Beginning from Nishta, then through Ruchi, Asakti, and Bhav, and finally Prem. However, a profound concept must be considered regarding each soul's ultimate development of love of Krishna. Each soul's. We've spoken about this a number of times. Each individual soul. It's not a group thing, it's an individual thing. If the intrinsic and internal inclination of a particular soul is to dedicate himself to Sri Bhagavan in the mood of a servant, Dasyaras, then his deepest inner hankerings will only be fulfilled by that mode of service. What is our individual hankering, our individual desire? Krishna wants us to be that point of happiness, that satisfaction, supersedity, full supersedity, because the conditioned soul in Kali Yuga is completely unsatisfied most of the time, because he has so many material desires to contend with. These material desires just create havoc in the mind. We want to become satisfied, at least materially, with whatever the Lord has arranged for us to have in our life, according to our karma. If we're wanting more than what the Lord has arranged, we're going to be unhappy. What's that? Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma? Na sochati, no more hankering. That means no more hankering, no more desires for anything. That's the only place to bring a sense of reconciliation and peacefulness to the mind. The mind has to be peaceful to move forward in that regard. If the intrinsic and eternal inclination of... I read that. Will only be fulfilled by the mode of his service tendency will never proceed beyond dasya ras. I read everything?
No, only this sentence was left in that paragraph.
In that paragraph.
Yeah.
Sri Satyabrat Muni's prayers reveal that his mood is destined to develop beyond dasya ras. This is what I said just before. Don't try and nail your staibhav down to a particular identity until you have matured somewhat in your devotion, until Guru will inspire that direction clearly. Don't try and jump ahead. At the same time, we should be considering our innermost desire and try to remain in that identity. Yes, I want to be a Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. So I'm thinking of that all the time. I'm reading about from Prabodhananda Saraswati. I'm reading from Raghunath Das Goswami, Vilap Kusumanjali. I'm reading from these different books indicating what it is to be a Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. If I'm not reading those books, where is my actual greed? It's just mental. But if I'm immersed in the sweetness of the teachings of Srila Raghunath and Srila Rupa Goswami, of course, then my greed will have some focus, especially Vilap Kusumanjali. There aren't so many books on the market describing Manjari Bhav, but Vilap Kusumanjali is there. My Gurudev has spoken a whole commentary on that. So if we immerse, and Chaitanya Charitamrita, it brings all of these topics out if we become immersed in the moods of Mahaprabhu. All of these things are within the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. Sri Satyabrat Muni's prayers reveal that his mood is destined to develop beyond dasya ras, and that is why this verse expresses increasing longing within his heart. We can understand his situation by considering the history of Gop Kumar. Even when Gop Kumar had attained residence in Vaikuntha, his inner hankering was not satisfied. This is what I just said. Unless we have to be satisfied. Yeyatma suprasidati. Saying right at the very beginning of the Bhagavatam, how to become satisfied. Uninterrupted and unmotivated service to the Lord. What's that? Aprahihat. Savai Pumsam Parodama, Yato Bhakti Hoise, Ahoitiki Apratihata, Yeyatma Suprasidati. His inner hankering was not satisfied. It was not even satisfied when he reached Ayodhya or Dwarka within Vaikuntha. Finally, he reached Goloka Vrindavan, and when he experienced loving exchanges with Krishna in the mood of friendship, Sakyabha, all his desires were at last fulfilled. Gopkumar is ultimately Swarup, and he's in Sakyabha. His mood never went any further. Similarly, Satyabrat Muni's longing is advancing through progressive levels of bhakti. Very beautiful description here. These are really sweet commentaries. Each sadhak will relish the sweetness of Sri Krishna's pastimes according to his own relationship, sambandha, with him, and also according to his qualification, adhikar. No two people are qualified exactly the same way. We've all come from billions of different births. We all have different inclinations, etc. It's these unique specialities that we want to perceive within ourselves. It's not going to be like every... So we have to have some courage. We're not following the party line. Mahaprabhu is described as being the most non-conformist preacher to ever walk this earth. Non-conformist. Walking around in South India with his arms in the air, calling out Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Nobody before had ever done that. So we have to have that confidence. We've said this before. Where are we up to? Sorry. Similarly.
That's in the description of.
Oh, thus in the description of Krishna's lotus feet being kissed again and again, Srila Sanatana Goswami explains that the word Gopya can refer to either Mother Yashoda or to Sri Radhika. The phenomenon of relishing Sri Krishna's pastimes according to one's own mood is illustrated in the following example. Once upon seeing scratch marks on her son's limbs, Mother Yashoda exclaimed, "Oh, where did these scratches come from?" Kundalata, who was standing nearby, heard this and commented, "Your son performs rasa at night. These marks are from that." Ras Leela is the prominent pastime in Madhurya Ras, conjugal love. So how could Mother Yashoda be privy to this amorous pastime? The answer is that Mother Yashoda was simply inquiring like an ordinary mother who was worried about the scratches on her son. Still, she was not necessarily unaware that her son was in fact performing Ras Leela. She had no idea. She just thinks that when her son goes into the pasturing grounds with all the suckers, they wrestle with him and fight with him, and this is how he gets these scratches. Vatsalya Ras assists and nourishes Madhurya Ras. Nevertheless, as soon as Mother Yashoda heard Kundalata's reply, she at once said, "My darling boy is still breastfeeding. He does not even have his milk teeth. He can barely speak. He just talks in broken childish language. And you are saying he engages in amorous affairs at night? My dear young lady, you do not know. I will tell you how he got these marks. When he takes the cows into the forest to graze, he loses himself in play with the other boys. Sometimes while chasing stray calves, he runs through thorny bushes. He is so absorbed in playing at such times that he's not even aware that he's being scratched. That is where these marks came from." Mother Yashoda knows that. She's not just saying that, she knows that. And Mother Yashoda would never want to increase her rasa. This is another important point. Every person's, like Gop Kumar, his rasa is Sakya Ras. He doesn't want to go to anything beyond that because his personal rasa is utterly satisfying to his heart and soul in every way. There's no need to go further. But Satyabrat Muni is not like that. Satyabrat Muni wants to go further. But we should understand Mother Yashoda is utterly, utterly satisfied. She's the embodiment of Vatsalya Ras. She wouldn't, even if she heard all the descriptions of Madhurya Ras, etc., she just wouldn't be interested to give up the joy of Vatsalya Ras. Because that's her staibhav. You don't want to change that. So we'll stop here today. This is so nectar. Actually, this is commentary. This is such a rasic book. I've told you before, I've read it many times. I've got it all marked all the way through it. But I've never appreciated just how rasic it is until I've been allowed to speak it during Kartik in Radhakund. And somehow or other the atmosphere lends itself to bringing out the most deepest, sweetest aspects of this Astakam. So, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Damodarastakam ki jai, Radha Kund ki jai, Radha Dasyam ki jai, and the Gopal Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Vaishnavyascha Kripa Sindhuvecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol.